Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel, Chris Makes Props. And as the name suggests, my name is Chris. Now, throughout this channel in the coming weeks and months, I'm going to show you my process of making various props that I love. But I'm going to put a big caveat around this and hold my hands up to say it. I am not a prop maker by any stretch of the imagination. No, I paint miniatures, sort of wargaming miniatures. I do build the occasional model from kits, etc. But I've never really gone down the route of making props before. So what led me to create this channel? Well, up until this point, I recently turned 50. And up until this point, I have been in marketing, design, and brand development. I ran my own marketing agency for 17 years, more focused on tourism. And I still do the occasional marketing coaching and things like that, just purely to pay the bills and the mortgage and my kids and make sure they're all sort of taken care of. But I've been working in this industry for 34 plus years, and I just felt it was time for a change. Maybe I was going through a midlife crisis, or I'm going through a midlife crisis, God knows. But I just wanted to do something a bit different, get out of the agency life that I've been in for so long. And I'm a huge fan, and I have to credit Adam Savage. I've been watching lots of his videos and prop making, what he does. And that spurred me on to think I would love to be able to do that sort of thing and learn how to do that sort of thing. So ultimately, that's what I did. I sold my agency. Like I say, I'm still doing the odd little side hustle job with marketing, etc. But I had more time to spend ultimately with my family, but also to do things like this. So I bought myself a Bamboo Lab H2D printer. That way I can print like full scale helmets and bigger models, etc. But also learn the electronic side of things and how I can start adding lights and sound and other moving parts within props going forward. And you're basically going to see my process of doing that, all the successes, but ultimately all the failures. And God knows there's going to be a lot of failures in this, trust me. But basically how I go through that process of building these things, good or bad. But hopefully the end result will be good. So there's a lot of props I like. There's films that I love. I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, obviously. I love Aliens, Alien and Aliens. Huge original Planet of the Apes fan. I do like the modern ones as well, but the original Planet of the Apes were amazing. The recent Dune movies I love as well. The Thing, Indiana Jones, the first 3 movies especially, or at least 1 and 3. And I actually did mind Dial of Destiny, to be honest. I thought it was better out of the newer ones. But certainly, Raiders of the Lost Ark, to me, is still the best one. So there's a bunch of movies I love, Blade Runner, etc., etc. I'm a huge fan of Blade Runner, 1 and 2. I love both. And I just want to start seeing how I can make some props. So I already have a number of props that I'm going to be making going forward. So the first one I'm going to be making is the Rogue One Rebel Soldier helmet, obviously just off the back of Andor. I love Rogue One. For me, as a film, it's up there with Empire Strikes Back. It's one of the best Star Wars films ever made. I love Rogue One. So I like the design of the Rebel Soldier helmet. So I'm going to start off with that. It's a bit more simple to begin with, but I have the various parts, and we'll see all that in the next video. So I've got all the bits. We're going to show the process of me making that. I then want to make, in keeping with the Rogue One theme, I then want to make a K2SO sort of head and bust with moving eyes, hopefully some sound with his voice, so starting to get into electronics and figuring out how all that works. I have the Droid Division STL, so I'll print out the STL for the head and then start to figure out all the electronics and things like that within that. Then moving on to a little bit more on to Blade Runner, because I've learned some electronics, hopefully, with K2SO. I want to build, for Blade Runner 2049, Joy's emulator, the little device that projects her sort of image. I want to make that. It's going to be quite thin, very small electronics to get the light to work. If I can get sound in that, I will. I doubt I will be able to. But we'll look at the options and see. So I want to build a working emulator. And ultimately, that will lead up to one of my, what I would call the big build, and the first of my big builds, and I want to build the Blade Runner spinner. So I have a 12 scale STL file that I got off Etsy, but I basically want to do a 6 scale version of it, so I'm going to be blowing that up 200%. and doing a 6-scale version of it to fit. I've got a decored 6-scale figure, so I'm going to have that within that as well. So I want to build a fully working lights, etc. 6-scale, maybe some sound, 6-scale spinner. I've also got another idea with that I'm hoping I'm able to do, but again, we'll see what my skill set's like at that time. And again, keeping with that, with the big build theme, at some point I want to build the blimp from Blade Runner with sound and the sort of tablets on the side, so you get the moving images and stuff like that. So that's another one I want to make. An alien warrior bust from Aliens, want to make one of them. I want to make an X-Wing as well, the lights and all that sort of stuff within it. I actually have the Dial Gustini, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Dial Gustini Millennial Falcon, which I partially built years ago. I've had it since it came out, and I've never really went back and touched it. But I now see there's so many new updates and STLs for the inside and upgrading it, etc. So that might become another big build, and using all these new elements to add to it and add lights, etc., etc. So that's maybe something else I'll look at as well. As I said, I was a fan of Dune, especially the newer ones. So an ornithopter, love to build one of them. I love that design. Planet of the Apes, the Icarus spaceship, looking at that. E11 blaster from the Stormtrooper blaster, working lights and sights and everything else. These are all things I want to try and make, plus other things. But those are some of the stuff I've already got planned in the pipeline. And you're going to see how I make these. Hopefully, there won't be a disaster, and finally I'll have something I can actually be proud of and show. But you'll see my process, how I paint them, how I build them, how I do the electronics, everything around that, so you can learn from me. Though there's lots of obviously good guys out there who do great videos on building STLs and what they do and props, etc. Sometimes I feel they lack a little bit of the detail of all the different bits of the process that they go through. So hopefully I'm going to show you that. Basically just document everything that I'm going to be doing. So that's basically going to be me. But the caveat around all this is, for most things, if not all, I'm going to build 2 of everything. So one for me to keep, and the other one I am basically going to raffle off on this channel. So the money made from the raffle is purely going back in to allow me to buy tools and other parts to start making more and more props, so I can learn this trade, and hopefully you can be along that journey with me. But you'll have a chance of getting your hands on one of these props and winning that prop as well. So yeah, that's me. So Chris Makes Props. Hopefully that's going to work out in this channel. You're going to see me making these props, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as I say. And hopefully you will learn how to make these things from all the different things that I'm going to be doing, all the different mistakes and successes and everything else that I'm doing. So welcome to the channel. Hit subscribe, hit like, do the usual things you have to do to keep in contact with me and to be informed when new content goes up. And yeah, welcome to the channel, and hopefully you get a lot out of it.